What was the key change in the supplementary budget?
Chair.
Just the headline.
Yes, the headline, we were trying to cure the lack of disbursements of royalties, because we had factored them in the budget, they didn't come, and we were left with pending bills that we needed to pay. So that supplementary one, we were trying, to rearrange our budget so that we are able to capture the expenditures that would have been funded by the mining levy. 2, we were also trying to bring in projects that had not been completed, that were ongoing in the financial year 2023-2024, to bring them into the budget so that we are also able to pay them.
Chair, Governor, listening to the gentleman, you are saying that you are doing a supplementary budget one to cater for mining royalties that had not hit your account. But this is August 2024 for a budget of 24-25 financial year. How would you know very early in this year, in the financial year, that the royalties not hit your accounts?
The royalties of the previous financial year, and they have not come, and we had budgeted for the royalties.
But this supplementary budget is for 24-25, which is the year in question.
Yes.
So you are doing the first supplementary budget for this particular year, having considered the money for royalties and maybe tweaking it to remove it.
Because we had not received we had planned, we had budgeted for royalty monies for the previous year. By close of financial year, we had not received the money, and yet we had already started some projects. So to cure that, in the current financial year, we had to replan.
Okay.
Yes.
So that can pay
for the project which had already commenced, yes.
Yes, okay.
So what you have submitted here is just to demonstrate that going forward, your supplementary budgets are subject to public participation as recommended by the Senate.
Yes, and we are doing that even last 2 weeks. We are doing another public participation on supplementary budgets.
Okay, fine. So we'll come back to it, because I think there was an issue where the Assembly refused to give you a budget for some project. So we'll see how that ties to this public participation that you did.
Maybe, Chair, just to complete this report, we might want a sample of minutes, maybe in one of the wards, so that that report is complete, that you did public participation, we are seeing the figures. Then in that report you can have maybe a copy of minutes.
The minutes are there.
They are there?
They're there.
Okay, in this report? Okay, okay.
Yeah, the report is arranged per ward. What the ward was recommended.
We do our public participation per ward. We have 20 wards, and in each ward we do public participation.
Yeah, I think it's a responsibility of Senate to provide better guidance on the conduct of public participation. We recently saw the members of National Assembly conduct public participation on the NGCDF. The sessions were held in the NGCDF wards and superintended by NGCDF staff. And so you can just guess what the outcome of that public participation would be. So I think this public participation has become a joke if it is not done properly. But we'll keep this on record, and the auditor will guide us in future whether there's strict compliance. Senator Omogeni, you could introduce yourself. Just go on record. And Mofaya, have you gone on record?
Of course, I introduced myself.
Okay.
I was in the website.
My name is Okongo Omogeni, Senator of Nyamira and member of this committee.
Karibu, Senator. And EACC, maybe just go on record.
Morning, Chair members. Patricia Chebet from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission.
Karibu. So let's proceed to the next issue on unsupported voided transactions. Auditor, what was your finding?
Thank you, Chair. The statement of receipts and payments reflect total payments of 9,392,696,890, which includes payments in respect to use of goods and services of 2,145,339,562, acquisition of assets of 1,799,004,623, transfers to other government entities of 1,402,807,107, and other grants and transfers of 506,210,000. However, review of the Integrated Financial Management Information System, that is IFMIS ledger, records provided for audit revealed transactions amounting to 425,440,277, which were initiated but later voided without any justification. Further, the supporting documents, including voided payment vouchers, requests to void payments, the National Treasury approval and exchequer requisitions to the controller and controller of budget, were not provided for audit review. In the circumstances, the accuracy and authenticity of the voided payments of 425,440,277 could not be confirmed.
Governor, what was your response?
For the list of voided transactions is available for audit, and Kenya shillings 303,978,116.50 have been paid, leaving a balance of Kenya shillings 121,642,161.20 shillings. It's provided an annexure 6, the schedule of payment.
Again, let's go to the audit query. There's the amount, and then there's a request for supporting documents. Auditor General, the documents that you indicated, the voided payment vouchers, the request to void payments, National Treasury approval, and requisitions, etc. Were those provided for your review?
Chairman, for this particular session, these specific documents were not provided, but as I indicated, my team are on the ground. They went to Kwale last week, and they are under instructions to verify the voided transactions, look at support documents if there are any, and we will file that response with the Senate.
No, Governor, did you provide the supporting documents?
Yes, we did provide.
At what point?
I'm looking for audit.
Because what you have told us here is in Annex 6 is a schedule of payment. But the query was the supporting documentation as a starting point before we get into the course of the voided transactions. Was that provided?
Yes, Chair. The transactions that were avoided, and we've explained this to the auditors, they are transactions we had processed in the year 2023-2024 in June. The transactions were in IB. We had not requested for financial from the control of budget. Come the month of July, we've submitted a letter we wrote to National Treasury on the 17th of July.
Is it on record?
Yes, annexure number 141.
Annexure?
141.
Okay, proceed.
We wrote to National Treasury to allow us to void those transactions because we needed to close over a financial year so that we can upload the budget for the year 2024-2025, because you cannot upload a new budget while transactions are still in the system. In accounting, you have to have a cut-off period. So that is why we wrote on the 17th of July to request that since there is no funding for these transactions, can we cancel them from the system so that we can upload the new budget and be able to operate and run government?
Okay, so we see the request to void rights.
The request was there. The rights are normally given
to
an officer.
Just a minute. We are seeing the request.
Yes.
We are seeing a schedule attached.
A schedule of the transactions which we sent to the director IFMIS.
Is there any response from Director IFMIS? Because all this seems to be one-sided.
Yeah, the response we receive is by them giving the rights to the officer. They do not respond in writing. They allow you to
Are you saying that all voiding you must have rights?
Yes,
void.
yes.
You cannot void without rights.
Without
from Treasury.
rights. From National Treasury, you can't void.
So it's almost a super user right in the system.
Yes.
Now, and I think that's why part of our recommendation was to the National Treasury and IFMIS, because in any organized IT environment, when there's a change of user rights, there's a user request form. There's supposed to be a user in a proper IT service management environment. There needs to be evidence that this request of 17th of July was actioned through the filling or approval of a user request form. And then once the exercise is over, how do you know that the right has been revoked?
Chair, they always communicate to us the right is given for 24 hours. After 24 hours, they automatically block that right.
So this 400 million was voided within 24 hours?
Chair, yes, it was done within 24 hours.
Chair, if that is the case, then auditor, why did you raise it as a query? Is it because they did not give that justification then, and they did not give these documents then, which is an infraction of the law?
Chair was about to raise the same concern, because one would be interested to know then why is this issue before us? Because if that explanation was given to the auditors, it shouldn't be among the concerns.
When
the OAG
Chair, thank you very much. I think if you look at when we issue our reports, the reports are issued as at 31st December 2024. And as that particular time, we were not privy to payment vouchers in support of the bills. We had not been given National Treasury approval, exchequer requisition to control our budget, and all the documents that relate to voiding of payments. So we had all the rights to raise that particular issue. If you look at the Senate recommendations which guided our particular preparation for this meeting, we were supposed to take care of two things. One, we were supposed to audit the voided transactions, amount of 425 million, and ascertain if the money was lawfully applied and deserving beneficiaries paid. And I indicated that that particular assignment is ongoing. Our teams are on the ground, and they will ascertain whether the amount and avoided payments was lawfully spent and the right people were paid. So we will get back to Senate after we are through with that particular exercise. The other issue that we were supposed to do was to give appropriate recommendations or action arising out of voided transactions. And we are telling Senate committee that in future, the county government should avail all documents that pertain to voided payments so that we do not raise this issue repeatedly. Thank you, Chairman.
Chair.
Sorry.
So, auditor, if you want to mitigate this audit query and address it, what would you require? Number one, requisition, or that requisition from OAG, no, from control of budget.
Yes.
Number two, this document that you've been shown here, asking for rights to void. Number three, a list of all the people who have been paid. That's what you'd require.
Yes.
To confirm that what was requisitioned from the control of budget was what was paid for.
A list is good enough, but is not sufficient. The reason being, when you get payment vouchers that are in support of a particular payment, you go all the way and establish whether this payment was lawful and as per regulations and laws that have been set. Because you could just pay, you could have a list of people who have been paid, but the procedure that was applied to pay them is not appropriate and is not lawful. So that is the exercise that my team, who are in Kwale now, are doing to establish lawfulness.
I raise that chair because voiding payments has been used to pilfer money, public funds, in some counties, not in Kwale.
From a quick observation,
Senator Gattas.
One would want also to know whether the intended beneficiaries got their money, right? When you got the right to void from the treasury. I don't know who is supposed to answer that question. Is it the governor or the OAG?
The intended beneficiaries got their money. That is what they want to confirm from us, the team which is on the ground. But on our part, we have all the documents ready.
Those people who are supposed to be paid got their money paid?
Yes.
Okay. Is that the evidence before us?
Yes, Chair. From Annexure 151, we've given a schedule of those who are paid, plus the EFT number from Central Bank, that this can also be verified from Central Bank, that they were paid. And in the schedule...
So what you do, on your Annexure 143, for example, Barrack Holdings Limited was to be paid 5.8 million. That transaction was voided.
Yes.
Can you confirm to us whether Barrack Holdings Limited were subsequently paid? Or if you can't find Barrack, you could look at Mali Limited or Ralpham Limited.
There is
or
Souk and Builders
Limited. And also, as you look for that, when you void the transaction, do those figures find their way into the pending, the accounts payable register?
Yes, Chair. The supplementary budget will bear us that all those amounting to 422 million, all that money was captured in the supplementary budget.
In the supplementary budget?
Yes.
And they were disclosed in the accounts payable?
Yes.
So I think that's what we had asked the auditor to confirm for us, because you can say all that, but it's the auditor with the technical capacity. Okay. Auditor, that money, 400 and something, was factored in as a pending bill, but was subsequently paid.
And that is why in Annexure 1, Mr. Chair, we wrote to the controller of budget, and one of the requirements when you are uploading the budget is you must also give the schedule of pending bills to the controller of budget, so that when we make a requisition, she counterchecks that requisition against the schedule we submitted. That is the only time she approves payment. The other issue I would want to say is on those 422 million, there were no requisitions to the controller, because we do not have funds to requisite for. So the auditor will not get that requisition for the 400 where we voided. There is no requisition because there was no payment. There were no funds to pay. It's only the transactions we had processed up to IB in anticipation of a disbursement to pay. But then when the disbursement didn't come, we have to cancel them from IB.
How does that disbursement come without requisitioning?
No, Chair, Senate passes a disbursement schedule for National Treasury to follow. So we will only make a requisition to the control of budget once National Treasury has disbursed funds to our revenue fund account. If there are no funds in the revenue fund account, you cannot make a requisition to the controller, because that's a control the Office of the Control of Budget has put in place, that she can only authorize withdrawals when she is aware and she has evidence that you have money to pay for that requisition.
Sure. Senator Chimera, then we try to wrap up this.
Yeah, 1 minute. You know you are losing us.
Senator Morgan.
You asked specific questions, gave examples of 2 companies. I've been waiting for that answer. My good friend is going round and round. Can you answer to those 2 queries, just to convince us that what you have told us indeed happened, that the voided transactions were subsequently paid?
Settled.
Yeah.
Yeah, let him answer that, then I come back to you, Treasury.
On page 1, on Annex 143, there's a supplier, Ziben Construction. If you go to Annex 152, item number from the bottom is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 16. From the bottom, item number 16, Annex 152. Ziban is there.
Not all of them, Suken is there.
Najaribu kutafuta huyo Suken.
Okay, the amount there is? So 152 is an actual payment schedule.
Yes.
Okay.
12,441,186.
So that's the evidence that whereas the transaction was voided, it was subsequently
paid. Yes.
So that's a test. We want the auditor to take up a fairly bigger sample to provide us with that assurance.
Okay.
National Treasury?
Chair, I want to go back to the letter that originated from the County of Kwale. The letter seems not to have been received by Treasury. There is no proof. No amount for the voiding amount. Annex 142 has an email that was forwarded to Treasury. No proof that the same was returned to the County of Treasury of Kwale, proving that they have given them the rights.
So now this is where the counties are failing. The forum for county executive committee members of finance ideally is IBEC. But you have let governors hijack IBEC. So when you go to IBEC, you don't discuss some of these things. This problem arises from the circular, the year-end closure circular by the National Treasury. And it says the things that the auditor is asking for. It says that for you to void transactions, you must provide supporting documents, you must make a request, there must be approval, etc., etc. But the situation on the ground is different. You guys are running things informally. And that's why now the Treasury can disown you. It is an informal system that has been perfected across the counties. You must have these conversations at IBEC. And if IBEC is not serving that purpose, there must be a different forum for heads of finance or heads of treasury in counties to caucus. Because the next question would be, we are shifting to the accrual basis. Are we going to have this problem when we move to the accrual basis of accounting? National Treasury.
Chair, I don't think there will be anything to do with void any longer, because the same amount will be forwarded directly to the other financial year. The only thing that has got a zero budget is the amount of the budget that will get to an end of the financial year. But the payments will automatically get to the other financial year without voiding.
This year counties are reporting on
accrual basis.
Now, to the county of Kwale, is this going to stop with the accrual?
Chair, what we have done, because of now out of subsequent audits and these issues coming to Senate, is we are now putting controls from our side that we will now not be processing transactions before we are assured we have enough resources to pay.
Well, that's on the current accounting system. But now, if you're moving from cash to accrual, is this going to be necessary?
Chair, it will continue to be necessary because if you have processed